Your loved one, your darling, your desired partner might have made a statement to you that perhaps he no longer wants anything to do with you, that he no longer wants contact with you, that he no longer wants the relationship with you. Maybe he ended it very abruptly from one moment to the next. And the question arises for you, oof, did he mean it seriously? Is he absolutely serious now? Is it completely over and done? Does he really not want any contact with me? And the question we are asking now is whether he really meant it that way. Whether he definitely doesn't want any more contact with you. Whether his words, what he told you, that he wants the distance from you, were really meant that seriously. Whether he really means it exactly as he said it. And now we will take a look at that. We are tapping into the energy of the present moment, the most prominent energy, and we will take a look at that. Dear ones, we are in the collective. Collective readings, the person cards are gender neutral, and collective readings may not apply to everyone. And I have read this several times in the comments from one day to the next. Suddenly, simply breaking off contact, doesn't want any more contact. And I took the question from the comments, but you can please feel free to write suggestions for a collective reading in the comments at any time. And, I definitely always like to include that, right? A very warm, loving hello to you, a very heartfelt, loving hug to you. And I really hope that you are doing well. And I am sending you lots and lots of happy feelings and lots of positive energy. Feel warmly embraced by all. A very dear thank you again for your heartfelt, lovely comments. Again and again, I find it so charmingly beautiful and kind of you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your presence. So now I would say let's see what's going on, whether he or she really meant what he or she said. And now let's just see what's going on. All right, let's delve into this topic a bit more thoroughly. As we begin, it's important to note that we have already made a promising start with the major arcana, which is a significant aspect of our discussion. In particular, we have the Wheel of Fortune card, which holds a lot of meaning and potential insights. This card is often associated with the cycles of life, the ups and downs, and the ever-changing nature of our experiences. By examining this card, we can gain a deeper understanding of the forces at play in our lives. So I would say already, this is about karmic connections. So it already looks like that to me. But there was also a change. However, there is also currently a stagnation and a sense of powerlessness. So here is someone who is not in harmony with themselves. Let me start again, okay? Here is someone who is not in harmony with themselves. But what is already being shown here in advance is that it's about overcoming problems so that he or she comes back into harmony with themselves and their situation. And here the card is decisive, the time is ripe, right? So it's about a change, a turning point. Let's take a look at what exactly is going on here. What is really happening with him or her? So then we have the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is already your counterpart. This is what you might not know, that he or she is really carrying a heavy burden and is absolutely exhausted. So there is a lot going on there. And I'll put it this way, he is deeply involved and perhaps still stuck in an apparently hopeless situation. And there's also, there is someone plagued by worry. There are problems are being shown here again. And maybe it's also the case now that he's in it, that he feels abandoned. And there's also a big issue at the letting go, right? Yes, but as I said, right now it's an absolute burden that he's carrying around. What exactly it is, we'll still see what's really going on. and whether he really meant what he said. What else do we have? The Nine of Coins. Nine of Coins, we already have here. Yes, there. It's about positive development here. So he might be a bit ignorant right now, right? So over heading in your direction, maybe more focused on, but yes, his luxurious life. Luxury is relative, right? Luxurious life, about his abundance, right? Independent, especially this independence. But there will be surprises here. So there's something here, yes, that shows a positive development, a happy turn of events. But how exactly? As I said, we can't completely tell from these cards yet. This is how it looks, right? But we already have, yes, a hint of what's really going on. So, oops, I'm curious. We still need this one. It belongs with it, right? So let's see if we can get a really clear view of what's going on there. Because as I said, turning point, change, burden, right? What is it? Is he coming out of it again? Did he really mean it seriously? What does it have to do with the turning point, with the change? So let's take a look. So let's take a look. Whether he really meant it seriously. So we can already see quite clearly there are indeed burdens here. There are issues. There are legacies from his past, also in the financial area as shown. And I would say the material, the environment, that's material circumstances, financial circumstances, situations are really issues for him here. They are legacies. And it is very evident with him right now. The loss also in the financial aspect. The abundance in general is here again. It is really. There is a significant lack right now. And I have him very clearly here, very affected, psychologically really affected, completely withdrawn. And the withdrawal, the decision is ultimately like this. Somehow he can't cope with everything. He is withdrawn, but he is also introspective. So he has really closed himself off completely. He has shut down, and there we have a communication. Yes, there are really several issues with your loved one that have truly contributed significantly to this. Because the decision he made, I can already tell you, he is definitely not sure about it. And no, I sense the insecurity in him. And I feel a very strong influence. So he is actually always wavering back and forth. I see with your loved one here, truly his problems. Some may know about the problems of the other person. Yes, he has financial issues. He has professional issues. And for some, I see him very strongly considering the idea of maybe quitting his current job, giving something up, changing something new, because I see him here burdened with a significant weight, not something small. But that's where he or she always makes a secret out of it, and maybe only throws a small piece over, but never fully opens up. Always this tense, withdrawn attitude, just not saying too much, right? And if he or she realized, oops, maybe that was a bit too much of what I said, then you would notice a complete change in him. It's like going from 0 to 1,000. The change is abrupt. Everything is distracted and completely blocked off, letting nothing in anymore. So nothing was happening anymore. You were the one who then went to him and said, you can talk to me if you want. I'm here for you. What's going on, right? And then no, nothing's wrong. Everything's fine, right? He actually recognized his own mistake. Well, it wasn't really a mistake, but for him it was. Realized, oops, I said too much, right? And then that shouldn't happen, right? So now when it comes to the decision he made to end everything here with you, I can definitely tell you, your loved one, yes, your loved one is not at all sure about this whole thing. So with him, there's this falsehood that is shown very clearly. I have this falsehood lying here very clearly. I have these entanglements, his fears, and definitely it was not meant sincerely. It was a knee-jerk reaction. It was, he can't cope with the whole situation. And it's also like this. That was wrong. He couldn't handle your warmth, maybe no matter how long. So let's take time out of the equation here, whether it was a few weeks, months, or years. He really always kept it just on the surface. Sometimes it seeped a little bit further down, trickled down the whole thing, allowing one to get into it, regarding the emotions, the feelings, but he always blocked it again. And that's the thing. Basically, he really enjoyed the contact with you. He found it very nice. He found it very nice, but he always liked to make a mystery out of it. And other people, regardless of whether here, how do I always call other women who come between you two when there was contact between you, then a cut, and yet something is still not finished. In between, the other person who got involved, I always like to call them a flow heater, you know, because that's really how it is. He or she has their issues, and they will experience a rude awakening here, honestly, because their situation is really terrible. And that's what you might see on the outside, where you now say, yeah, no, they present themselves quite differently. They say, hey, I'm doing well and everything's great, fantastic. And they act on the outside, yes. But on the outside, I also have this pretense. There, I have a secret that they completely guard and keep like a treasure so that it doesn't come out what is really going on inside them. Even when they say, hey, yeah, or you see, you might not hear it, but you know. Unofficially or somehow, there is another person who has come between. This is a continuous flow heater, and I have very strong entanglements here as well. No, he is not happy, and no, he is not happy about having broken off contact with you either. He just got out of there. That was a knee-jerk reaction. A knee-jerk reaction. It was hasty, and because his heart opened up quite a lot here, but he lost control. This is his big issue, control. Always standing on this watchtower, armed with a weapon, whatever it may be, a pump gun, all sorts of things, hand grenades or something, in case there's an attack somewhere. I always have to protect myself. That's how I have his heart's person. Always in this state of alert. And it's like this, definitely. Don't really allow anything further. Don't allow love. I also have your heart's person here. This deep love, this completely letting go. He doesn't know that. He was always in this state of alert. So, and with you, it's now like this. He is increasingly gaining access. The love for you has deepened more and more, and it has become deeper. And then his perspective has softened, which I actually find beautiful, because you have a really wonderful interplay with each other. But for him it was, oh, too much love, too much softness equals loss of control. And then bam, rule in place, all barriers raised here. There it is. No, all barriers down so that nothing gets through here because I have him blocking awkwardly. Essentially, a person with a heart is very insecure, very insecure and outwardly like, all right, hey, great, what's the cost of the world? It's me, I'm the hero. But inside it looks completely different because he is very soft there, very soft and very vulnerable. But opening the heart equals heart injury, equals loss of control, equals loss in general. And that's a big issue. We have him lying here now. Other people inside and outside, he notices something. A buddy, could be a co-worker, a brother, whatever. We are in the collective. He's in contact with or they are just out and about, no matter what they're doing, right? And he notices, wow, The buddy is just getting, let's just call it a buddy. It could be someone else, right? He's just getting a message here. And the partner is writing. So at that moment, he tenses up because then comes this pain, this longing, this missing towards you, your message. So then we have another buddy who says, hey, outside, come on, let's go. We're going to party hard. We're going to party here. We're doing this. We're doing the activity. We're going there. We're doing, I don't know, all sorts of things, right? Whether it's gaming or whatever. So then he says again, hey, come on, we don't need another one. It just distracts, and so on. Then he's torn back and forth again. Then it's again, hey, all right, it fits. Because he actually doesn't even know where his path is going right now. And there's always this pull from other people, other situations. But basically, when I look at his domestic area, in the domestic area, there you are. There you are. And even there is the message, there is the communication with you. And there I have this, this very surprising, suddenly surprising feeling, as if he's waiting for a message from you. Like you said, good morning, sleep well or something. Good morning, right? Did you sleep well? Yeah, sleep well. Something like that. Now comes the moment that keeps coming up, right? Then comes this. Also very surprising, maybe looking at the phone, there's a message on it where he then gets startled and says, tell me, what's going on now? Right? No matter what situation he's in, whether there's an instant water heater, buddies, or whatever it is, I have this reaction with your loved one. He gets startled by it himself, and I say very clearly, no. He didn't mean what he said seriously. It wasn't his true intention. For the first moment, yes, that's how it must be. Here, I'm completely in my fortress, I'm protected, and have now closed everything off, right? But this moment keeps coming back more and more, and I experience this more in a domestic setting. And as I said, especially if it's a co-worker or, as mentioned, whoever it is notices it outside, right? And then, yes, the partner wrote to the person. And then he repeatedly feels this disappointment. It really hits, it truly hurts the heart. That's when I feel this heartache. And because fundamentally he wants that too, because that's what he felt with you. You gave him closeness, and with you, he knows. He can completely let go. There he can become soft, but he is afraid of that. Those are his issues. These are really very strong issues that such a heartfelt person has, which truly occupy him internally. I see him completely blocked. Blocked, completely full of fears. But the heart is very, very, very strongly directed towards you. And as I said, these spontaneous feelings, this missing you, this checking the phone, did a message come? Or he hears something and then the first glance at the phone, whether it was a message from you or a message actually comes, and then, oh, it wasn't you, right? He is startled by it himself, but it is happening more and more frequently. And there, after this reading, I say, no, he doesn't. Completely agree with what he told you. Whether it's the break in contact, whether it's, yes, being blocked, that he might have blocked you, or even ended the relationship. He knows it. These are his fears. They are truly his fears that have been preoccupying him for a long time from his past. And your loved one knows, it's becoming more and more apparent that now is the time to bring about a change here. I have him here with these means, well, this crossroads. There is, as I said, the one buddy or the instant water heater here, in this direction. But he feels when he looks in this direction, oh, I actually don't really want to go there. And then it becomes increasingly clear, but ever stronger. Here I have this dominance, this strength from this area. To see partnerships in his environment, messages, this. Hey, I'm going home to my partner, Or we have this in the company, or simply we go shopping together, this we factor. And he is increasingly drawn to this area because there is brightness, there is warmth. And he longs for warmth.
And this is simply a performance he gave her towards you. It wasn't meant seriously. He didn't mean what he said. And of course, these are harsh words, yes, even when it comes to a breakup. But he is completely uncertain there because he is not at all true to his heart, as I see the unfaithfulness in his heart here. And I see the faithfulness in your heart. There is truly this affection, and in this direction, I see for his heart in general, there is nothing there, because he is actually at this crossroads, this fork in the road that I mentioned to you earlier. And there it's a no. He is not following his heart, but rather going further into a dark hole. And it will all escalate very, very strongly. And these are things he might have pushed away for years. More and more keeps coming up, and it will really tear him apart. So now let's see what else we can get from your loved one. So we have the 8 of coins. With the 8 of coins, it shows that something is slowly building up. And the problem, and I find this absolutely beautiful, the combination of what we saw at the beginning, what we saw in the middle, where we delved deeper, is now being shown here. Problem, problem. Fears, problem past, problem current situation. Problem, himself with himself. And this problem is now being solved step by step. He is solving his problem or problems step by step. And now his zeal is truly being captured, where perhaps he has lacked ambition all this time. For years, however long. Superficial, as I mentioned earlier, you know, where it has always been a bit chaotic here. And now it really goes deeper, because here we truly have this change. And the beginning of this transformation, of this shift, and what I find absolutely beautiful here, we have the star. The star is also one of the greatest cards of luck. And here there is a new upswing. Because a person dear to the heart regains faith in themselves especially, which I find the most important in this reading, the faith in honest, deep, true love, living the love. This faith, which he has always resisted, always blocked, never fully allowed. And there, let's say he or she receives enlightenment here. So I would also say the distance that is here now is important, because you are not indifferent to him. And repeatedly this message or some sound comes, he connects it with you. And then comes this, sadness. It's sad because it's not you. But it's very important that you don't, after this reading, only after this reading, please, right? So please don't generalize this now and that everyone does what I'm saying here. Because as I said, we are in a collective. It can't apply to everyone. Also, after this reading, what I can tell you is don't start, or I wouldn't recommend you to start sending him messages one after the other, right? Get in touch or something like that, or trying to contact him in any way. No, because after this reading, it's very important here that your loved one feels the distance so that it truly becomes the access to his heart, which he really misses here. Because it is building up more and more as he is currently in the process of solving his problems. No matter what you see on the outside, what you hear from him, we are looking here at what is happening inside him, what is not visible right now, you know, but what is going on inside him, and that it comes to visibility. So, and as I said, the star, a new upswing, and you regain this faith. And no matter how and what, separation is also shown here, not from you, you know, separating again, or that it is final. No, Yin, he is separating from his attachments, from his current situation. Whether it's the instant water heater or the gambling buddy or anything else, you know, all his issues, his problems, including financial ones, he will resolve here. He will fulfill his obligations differently again, so that he himself can also find more ease. Because there is a strong lack of ease here, as he is currently really in despair, he is confused, but he will regain his composure. As mentioned, solving everything step by step, resolving his problems, transformation, change, and he will also regain hope and faith. Faith in love, as mentioned, and this is what he is currently processing within himself, which I find beautiful. We have here the new upswing. And then, as we had at the beginning, the Wheel of Fortune, which also shows that the time is now ripe and he is completely in the midst of it. And there we have the turning point, the change. It is beautiful. My dear ones, but I know you always decide freely for yourselves because you say, hey, I am the most important person in my life, period. And you create your own happiness. You don't make it dependent on anyone else. And that is very important, and I find it beautiful. My dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of the day. Goodbye.